Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Earlier today, I put out a video exposing the shooting hoax that was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Somebody watched that video from Kalamazoo and pointed out to me that the arrest of the suspect was made at Shakespeare's pub, which is a notorious police officer hangout within the town. He said everybody who lives here knows that's where the police hang out, so it's very suspicious that the suspect, who's supposedly from the town, would go there. What I want you to notice is that Shakespeare's pub has gematria 58, just like Freemasonry, just like the numerology of the date of the shooting. And as I've been pointing out all year in decoding all of these shooting hoaxes, 58 is a number that is often coded and coded heavily. Sandy Hook Elementary School, around the time of where the shooting hoaxes really took off. Ever since that, they've become more and more frequent in the media. Sandy Hook in gematria equals 58. There has been 3 major theater shootings reported in the media. Aurora, Colorado, Louisiana, and Tennessee. It was Lafayette, Louisiana, and Antioch, Tennessee. As I pointed out, after the first 2 theater shootings, the number 58 was heavily coded. Then the next shooting ended up coming on August 5th, which in most parts of the world is written 5/8, and it was also heavily coded with 58. Again, you learn this language of numerology and gematria, you see through the hoaxes. Also, if you just use your critical thinking skills, you can recognize that the media is actively deceiving us. As this man pointed out who commented, he wrote, you don't need the numbers to see the lies. He said, plus anyone who lives in Kalamazoo knows he got arrested at the police bar. Why would this guy ever be there? On top of that, just think about this, truth seeker. From Sandy Hook up to the present, we've been bombarded with all of these major shootings, mass shootings. Now in your mind, I want you to recall a dead body you have seen in the images from all of this reporting going on for several years now. Are you thinking? Can you recall a body? Have you seen a dead body? I have not, truth seeker, and I've been decoding all these stories and looking for that evidence. Right now, all these people are trolling the video that I made this morning, as they always do. These aren't regular people. This is the government paid for to try and dismiss truth. And they write all these crazy comments. They always bring up the word schizophrenic, mental illness. This is how the programming works. The deceivers are highly invested in deception, and they will go to all lengths to dismiss the truth. That's why every time I make a shooting hoax video, it's heavily attacked. But the fact of the matter is, for everyone who's deceived by these shooting hoaxes, you have never seen a single image of a dead body. Not one. The only time you've seen bodies in shootings is when officers are shooting black people. And even most of those that have been put out in the media are scripted hoaxes, all part of the agenda. It's a race war they're trying to build. Let me show you some more headlines that have come out since I made the video this morning. CNN has kept this up all day. A PT Cruiser, supposedly the vehicle the shooter was driving, with the headline, "Horrified and Heartbroken." Here's the gematria of this headline. As I routinely teach, when the media puts the emphasis on the phrase, it is definitely a coded phrase that syncs up with the story. Horrified and Heartbroken has the same gematria as United States of America. And this is propaganda for a nation. This propaganda fuels gun sales. It causes an element of the population to go out and buy more guns and ammo because they think that their guns are going to be seized any day, which is something that will never happen in this nation. Arms manufacturing is one of the only remaining industries in this nation. Part of the reason they're doing this is to fuel gun sales, to fuel Wall Street, and it is. Pay attention to the headlines in the time of all these shooting hoaxes. More and more gun sales. Also, this headline, Horrified and Heartbroken, it has a gematria of 129, syncing up with PT Cruiser. And there's a PT Cruiser right on the screen. Do you think that is a coincidence? If you do, I don't know what to say to you. All year, I have been showing this coding practice and how routine it is. The media actively uses this skill. Also, they keep calling him an Uber driver. His name is Jason, Uber driver, matching gematria. 59 in Jewish gematria is the kill number. This is a story of a killer who's also an Uber driver, and the story is incredibly far-fetched. They're saying he was killing people between doing his Uber driver rounds, transporting people around the city. Now think about this, truth seeker. They say the shooting began at 6 p.m. and went on for 6 hours before he was arrested at the police bar. Does that sound realistic to you at this day and age? Kalamazoo, like every city in this nation, now has cameras at every intersection. There's cameras, there's police surveillance everywhere. Shooting in a city and it going on for 6 hours without the police responding. There are police everywhere in every city of this nation. This is a police state. People say the police state's coming. The police state's already here. Wake up, people. You can't see what a hoax this is? Obviously, part of the propaganda, they want to attack Uber as well. People like my mom will see this story and go, ooh, I'll never use Uber. They might have a scary shooter driver. You know, so many people just eat up what's in the media. They just believe it. It's like a religion. The media is their brain. It does their thinking for them. The taxi services of this nation are old, established, and definitely controlled by the Masons like so much else. This Uber might be an enemy of theirs because it's cutting in to their service. You know, I see a lot of people going with Uber as drivers and as their taxi service. So in this shooting hoax, they're also attacking Uber. But wake up, people. All of you who write to me, this numbers thing's stupid, you don't need the numbers. You know, I've only known of the numbers for a few years. I've seen that the media was a hoax since I was a kid. And on September 11th, 2001, after that day, I knew to never trust the media again. It was obvious that it was all lies, all deception, all propaganda. And for those of you who realize that, but who are still miffed by these stories, think deeper, people. If they'd lie to you then, when would they ever tell you the truth? And the answer is never. The media is not here for the truth. It's here for propaganda, deception, deceit, agenda. That's all the media pushes. Real shootings, real killings, they don't make the news. I live in Seattle. Seattle's a segregated city on the south end. There's killings, there's murders every night. They're never reported about. Never. You never hear about them. They don't make the paper. They don't make the national news. They're just silent. The only time you hear about these shootings in the media is when they're sponsored by the government, by the police, when they're part of the propaganda agenda. They want people to be scared, but not too scared. When Sandy Hook happened, I was still working in an elementary school, a private school in Bellevue, Washington, which is where Microsoft is, not far from Seattle. The day that shooting happened, parents were coming in early to pick up their kids. They didn't feel safe. A shooting in Connecticut all the way across the nation. These parents are sheeple. They don't realize that they live in a city where there's shootings every night and not even far from where they live. But because they're not reported in the media, they're out of their mind. They don't exist to them. All people are responding to is what's in the media. The media is a powerful tool, a tool of propaganda, a tool that controls the minds of most Americans. If you can't see that, you're one of the sheeple. Again, I ask you to think about all the shootings we've been bombarded with, and I ask you to think, can you ever recall a single body? No, you can't. I know you can't, because I've been following these, and there hasn't been a single body shown ever. Nothing but scary headlines. Last night they were saying at least 6 dead, possibly many more. You know, they always want to exaggerate it. Just like on the day the Boston Marathon bombing happened, all the headlines were that there were limbs all over the streets of Boston. What happened when we saw the images? Nothing. Nothing but the little contrived scene that they made. Looked pathetic. Looked like a B movie. It's all a joke, truth seeker. And gematria is not a joke. If you haven't seen my video from earlier today, I'll link it. Show you just how coded out this story is. All by the Masonic numbers. Alright, until next time. Encore, truth seeker. Forgot to do this. I just wanted to read this mainstream reporting to you and tell you something else to look out for in these hoaxes. The names used are often ridiculous as the witnesses. Look at here. They say the witness to the arrest of the suspect was named Noberto Deruit. I mean, who has a name like that? If you read these mainstream stories, if you actually take the time to read the article, names like this are commonplace. More often than not, it's a ridiculous name that you've never heard in your life, as opposed to the names you hear every day in the people you interact with. So Noberto was leaving Shakespeare's pub with his girlfriend after celebrating his 22nd birthday. Keep in mind, a 22 is a gun. They say the shooter was 45 years old. A 45 is also a gun. Celebrating his 22nd birthday when he pulled down a side street and saw police lights. I'll also point out that birthday has gematria 42, just like the word freemason, and Kalamazoo's on the 42nd parallel, as I pointed out earlier. Remember, the people who write these stories, they practice gematria, they love to code them like riddles. I guess to them it's fun, having a laugh at the expense of Americans. While he was at the bar, 241 East Kalamazoo Avenue, I'll have you know that 241 is the number 142 in reverse. Remember when you write out 42 as a word and sum it sums to 142? Terrorist equals 142. That's what they're trying to scare us. They're trying to make us think there's terrorists everywhere. Random shooters who might just go on a Uber driving killing spree. Anyhow, East Kalamazoo Avenue, Deruit said he had been watching the TV news coverage of Saturday night's shooting spree that killed 7 people and injured at least 1 more. It's now since dropped to 6 people. When he stepped out of the bar early Sunday, he said he saw a flurry of police activity. We just happened to see all the cop cars pull up. I pulled over and I asked the cop, "Did you guys catch him?" And he said yes. Deruit said he did not see them pull the suspect out of the vehicle. I didn't see the guy at all. I didn't want to be that close. Police around 12:40 a.m. said they arrested a suspect in the deadly shootings. A sheriff's deputy reportedly spotted the suspect's vehicle, a Chevy HHR, and pulled it over. Authorities said the arrest was not confrontational. Now look at the headline. Eyewitness describes arrest of Kalamazoo's mass murder suspect. Well, the description said that he didn't see the suspect. You know what I mean? It's because it's all a hoax, truth seeker. It's all a hoax. I'd bet you anything that face they're using, if that's even a real face, I bet you that is a police officer. Probably one who works in custody where you don't see him out on the street. He has the look of a police officer. A fat fuck, goatee. That's how most police officers I know look. Obese, out of shape, disgusting. It's because most of them are. That's why they call them pigs. A fitting title. But anyway, you just read the reporting on this stuff. It's all bullshit. It doesn't add up. Hoax names, not real people, not real events, lie after lie with no support. So for anyone who believes, that's just it. You're a believer and not a thinker.